It's been now a year and a few months that we've been the directors of the foundation, and it's been an amazing journey so far. Our trip has taken us to so many countries throughout the world where we have overseen the different activities of the foundation, namely the Arts Patronage Award. And it's been really very, very rewarding to see the response that all these different places have about the activities of the foundation. We've learned a lot, and we have a lot of great ideas and new initiatives that we are developing for the next years to come.
Yeah, so one of the things we realized is actually that the foundation really needs to increase its global scope. So for us, what is very important, having known so many Brazilian artists, that we need to also include Brazil in many of our activities. So this is the second time this year that we're awarding an arts patron for their contribution to the arts. But we've also established in the last year an international curatorium of established arts professionals. And one of them is also based here in Brazil. It's Jochen Volz, the newly appointed director of the Pinacoteca de São Paulo, but also the curator of the last São Paulo Biennale. So in total, we have 5 well-established arts professionals, esteemed colleagues of ours, and one of them is based here in Brazil. And the idea is that with the help of this curatorium, we can increase our network and our reach. And the fact that we have appointed someone here in Brazil to join us on this journey is also a very good indication of how much we believe in the art scene here in Brazil.
So one of the things that we're actually planning to do very closely with the curatorium is develop something that we're calling the commissioning program, or an artist commissions program. And this is our way of actually making the collection of the Montblanc Cultural Foundation grow, both in its geographical scope and its representation of artists of different practices and in different media. So along with the curatorium, we will meet once a year, and we will decide on young artists that have interesting projects that we would support. The projects would be slated to be seen in a biennale or in an exhibition, maybe here in Sao Paulo or in Brazil, in other parts of the world. And then at the end of the exhibition or the biennale, after the public has seen the works will join the collection in Hamburg, where they will be seen as well. We will invite the artists and maybe the respective curators that they're working with to come and do a talk. So in a way, we will be supporting young artists. We will be giving the public the opportunity to see these works, and at the same time make the collection of contemporary art for the foundation grow. And this is something that we'll work very closely with the curatorium on in order to use their expertise to expand the network and discover great projects happening in so many parts of the world.
So one of the main reasons for us to establish this curatorium is to really increase not only the global scale or the outreach of the foundation, but it is also to have a network of similar-minded colleagues that are genuinely caring about the arts. So all of these 5 members have a long record of working directly with the artists, helping them in their careers, helping them in their artistic development. But there are also people that have worked for many years with various foundations. So they've all been in positions of trying to find money, trying to supports for the arts and the various projects. So what we wanted to do is actually find a bit of an expert gremium, in a sense, to help us decide what are the best artists to support and what are the best art patrons to award in the coming year. The award is now giving in 17 countries, and it makes it extremely difficult to also have the certain expertise or a voting system that we currently have in place, where you have people from different countries voting on each other's projects. And we felt that maybe this is not the fairest or the best system, but rather have a panel of real experts that are long-standing professionals in the arts to help us choose really what are the projects we should be supporting in each country.
So perhaps we can tell you who the 5 members are, since some of you might not know this. One of them, of course, is, as still said, Jochen Volz, who's the director of the Pinacoteca here in Sao Paulo. We have also Sun Jung Kim, who's the newly appointed director of the Gwangju Biennale and is the founder of Samuso in Seoul, in Korea. We have Jean Deloisy, who's the president of the Palais de Tokyo. We have Franklin Sermons, who's the director of the Perez Art Museum in Miami, Florida. And we have Anne Barlow, who's the director of the Tate in St. Ives. So they're all coming from different parts of the world, and they're all very, very established and will help us in our work. I think patronage for us means something very, very important. It's about people who are investing very, very serious resources, be it years of their life, be it, substantial amount of time, of money, to support artists, to create opportunities for people to access the arts, to fill a gap in the context in which they exist, and leave an impact that changes the landscape of the cultural scene or community in which they live. And by us coming in and recognizing the work of such patrons, our hope is that other individuals who might have similar resources will be inspired and will follow suit, and will then themselves support other initiatives and arts projects that require, that kind of support.
I also think there is a big difference in the way patrons play a role in the arts in the different countries and different societies. You have many countries, such as Germany, for example, where there's a lot of funding from the government for the arts, whether it's through museums, through art schools, or even artist programs, residency programs. But there are many other countries where that is not the case. And either way, it is very important to have actually patrons supporting the arts, because it is a different viewpoint, it is a different angle, it's a different degree of flexibility, and it is also something that is directly driven from the people in a certain sense. So there is a genuine excitement. Somebody is personally excited about the arts and is committed to supporting a project through many, many years, many decades. And it's exactly that kind of relationship that is maybe an inspiring teacher that we remember from our childhood, but a certain kind of personality that is inspiring others to do more. And what we are very much hoping by coming to Brazil and giving the award this year to Solange Farkas from Video Brazil is that we see the value in this, that we can actually tell other people, look, this is wonderful, this is an amazing work that has been created, an amazing organization that supported hundreds and hundreds of artists that we personally also know. So we personally can testify of the benefit that this organization actually means to a lot of these artists. And if that would not exist, there would be a huge gap, and many lives actually would have not had the positive impact that they actually were experiencing. And we really hope that this award is an inspiration to many other people to either get involved with her organizations, Video Brazil, for example, or create organizations themselves and really support the arts and understand the value that this has for our societies.
I think one of the reasons why we're very, very excited about being here, about Brazil, about the art history in Brazil, is the fact that this is a country with great cities that have contributed so much to the history of art, not only in the last 10 or 20 years, but for centuries. Since the 18th century, 19th century, there have been a great tradition of painting, of sculpture, coming out from cities like Sao Paulo, Rio, and other places. And just walking around the museums here is such a great learning experience. You encounter great works by Tarsila de Amaral, by José Pansetti, by Lazar Segal, and they are all wonderful painters that maybe in other parts of the world are not so well known. People might know a little bit more the contemporary art scene. But what is fascinating is the history and wealth of artists that have been working here and coming from these cities for so many, many years. Other examples come to mind: Geraldo de Barros, great photographer, Cavalcanti, who has a brilliant exhibition at the Pinacoteca at the moment. This is all great inspiration for us, and allows us to root our work in a more grounded way when we come here, to learn, to discover, to appreciate, and build bridges between what is happening here, not only now, what has been happening here, and what's happening in other parts of the world. So the idea is to say that everybody comes together to contribute. It's not about importing things from other places. It's about learning from Brazil what's happening here and trying to share it with other parts of the world.
I think what's really important for the Arts Patronage Award, but also when we support artists, is to create a certain safe space for artists to express themselves freely. This is absolutely important, that no matter what the circumstances are, you need to be able to reinvent yourself. You need to be able to question things around you. And what the true value, I think, is of arts patronage, what a great patron does, is actually create a safe space so that artists can actually experiment, they can go without any limits and explore their creative thinking. And it's always important, no matter where you go and what you do, to actually support and advocate for that. And I think this is something we very strongly believe in, the freedom of expression for the arts. It's absolutely important. We're very happy to support that here in Brazil.